What's that? Oh, good idea.
Unless you want to be Mayor McKinney for a night.
No, thank you.
That
Enough
would just
expectations on you
that would
being
just
the mayor is not one of
confuse
them.
everybody.
Ready? I'd like to call to order the town board. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Here.
Trustee McDowell?
Here.
Trustee Frierson?
Here.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Chairman Neal?
Here. Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? And Mr. Bremner, would you please lead?
Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Are there any agenda changes this evening? Hearing none. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as proposed?
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Motion second. Or something. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on September 20th, 2022 at 6 o'clock p.m. And the approval of the minutes of, held for the special meeting on October 4th, 2022 at 6:45 p.m. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Are there any citizens' comments this evening? Please.
Dr. Neal, gentle lady, honorable sirs, I stand before you this evening for the first time in 2 years to respectfully call your attention to the fact that on the 10th of November in 1775, Captain Samuel Nicholas was authorized by the Continental Congress to raise 2 battalions of seagoing soldiers to be known as Continental Marines. Ever since that date, every Marine has claimed the 10th of November as his or her birthday. Thereupon, I respectfully call upon the Zion Township Board of Trustees to send the appropriate birthday greetings and felicitations to the Commandant of the Marine Corps, Headquarters Marine Corps, Washington, D.C. I do thank you for your time, your courtesy, and your attention to this matter. I request permission to stand up.
Thank you, sir, very much. Appreciate it. Are there any other citizens' comments? Hearing none, moving on to item 7, authorized bills for payment for September. Trustee Fisher.
Yes, met with conference call with Supervisor Neal and assessor and I request approval of total bills in the amount of $103,980.91.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 8 is to receive and place on file the annual treasurer's report. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion second. Discussion. I have to be honest, when I looked at this, I about had a heart attack. I was like, there's no way we've ever had $2 million in expenditures, but then I realized that it was the grant.
Yeah.
So literally my heart stopped and I'm like, wait. And then Sandra reminded me, so. I was like, so, yeah. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 9 is consider appointing Trustee Frierson as auditing official as it relates to the Whistleblower Act. I actually had a phone call with the state's attorney's office yesterday and asked if it was necessary or if we could delegate the state's attorney's office to be the representative, and they said absolutely, that we could do that. So I would like to send them a letter stating that we would like them to remain the auditing official for whistleblower claims. I just think it keeps it cleaner if there was a situation to make sure it goes straight to them and not stay local.
And we're going to put something out to staff, letting them know that if they have an issue, that would be their contact.
Their contact. Perfect.
Yeah, that's required, yeah.
Mhm.
I can help you gather that. I think it will go to the head of their civil division in most cases.
Is that Lyle Salter, I think, is who I,
That's one name, but there's another female that
okay,
was provided as well,
perfect.
so, okay.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to accept making the whistleblower auditor the state's attorney's office?
I'll make
So-
that motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 10, discussion regarding decennial committees on law, local government efficiency act. Hoping that you guys have had some thoughts around potential community members who might be interested in serving in this capacity. And have you guys had any time to think about that?
You want names?
Well, so what they recommend is that we have 2 residents along with us, and then any staff that we think need to be.
I was just thinking about Chris Kubik.
Oh, except for he's not a resident anymore. He would be great though, but, so we could actually add him to it, even though, because it says in anybody else that we would like to. That would be an interesting, 'cause he does think very globally
Mm-hmm.
in that respect. Awesome. I was personally thinking Shante Frierson, because she works for the Park District, and I think she's also a very global and specific, but I have not reached out to her yet. I did speak to her husband, and he said she's very busy, and it would depend on what the responsibilities would be.
Okay.
But, and one other person that keeps coming to mind is Laura Murray. She is very specific in her feedback, and she's always willing to share a lot of feedback. And that's what we're looking for, right? Is somebody that is willing to like take this topic and think it through and give us some really good feedback. So she was somebody else that I really
How
thought.
much involvement is there in terms of meetings?
I think it's 2 meetings.
Would we be able to hold those meetings at the end of a township board meeting?
We might want to do it before,
Or
because,
before, yeah,
yeah,
before.
just because with the city council meeting, if it went into further, but yeah, we could easily just,
Well, I'd say the people that are in the room, that are always in the room.
right?
Be considered.
I think that's a really
Yeah.
good point. I just think that there might be some opportunities for somebody that, and I just thought of this like off the cuff, but, somebody that's always impressed me with the way they think is, Tiffany Taylor Pipes. Is being strategic, just to try and get diversity from our community,
Yep.
that we might not have. It's an opportunity to bring in somebody that we wouldn't normally for conversation.
Some good choices. What is our process to, are we just sending out a request and asking people to respond, or what's the selection process?
We get to decide that next.
Okay.
And actually, I would not be opposed to having more than the 2, to just putting your mind to, any efficiencies and just being people that would be willing to ask hard questions. So we're really thinking things through.
And the output of this committee is just a report of the findings and recommendations as well, or?
Report of the findings and recommendations. And I'd also like to bring the topic to the Zion Leaders team. to be able to have a more collective conversation with everybody else to see if there's any similarities or anything that they're seeing that we could be doing collectively versus individually.
Was it the intent of the legislators to examine the necessity of multiple government bodies? Is that the purpose of this committee, to determine if we're necessary?
Actually, no. What I've, and Chris, you dug into this a little bit more than I did. What I
Yeah.
think that was the original intent of
There,
what they
the
wanted.
original bill did have a component in it about consolidation of government units. That was subsequently removed. So now it is basically a discussion and a report on efficiencies that can be implemented within the governmental unit.
No, so kind of
So-
taking the teeth out of it.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of pushback on the consolidation end of it, so they dropped it.
Well, what I appreciate about it though is it gives us a formal opportunity to start looking at some of that stuff, right? And so if there was a group that came up as a suggestion, right, to actually do the extra work, like we already did.
We are, yeah, I was gonna say, we're ahead of the curve on this. It's not that we can't change our view on it, but I think we have researched it very thoroughly.
Mhm, mhm.
And, we can present those findings to the committee that's formed and then go from there.
Well, in my thinking, this offers us up some other opportunities that we might not have thought of. Like for one, landscaping, right? And for another, janitorial service, and for another, auto repair, but which we already work with the city, and the city already does the repairs on our vehicles. But what are some other opportunities for us to do cost-saving measures, to be able to work with other organizations? Not necessarily around consolidation, but around, other opportunities that could benefit all of us. So I'm just grateful that finally there's legislation that to do an investigation of what are some best practices instead of, contempt prior to investigation, where people just make up their minds and then it ends up being infeuding, because they have spun their own stories where they're asking to put together an actual report of what some cost-saving measures might be. So I'm grateful for that movement forward at a legislative level. So.
Because even at the Zion Leaders event, when the question was posed regarding clean energy, it was like, so maybe there's an opportunity to.
Yeah, that kind of came out of
That's
nowhere.
a great point. So, different ways. I don't know, the township is so, right, it's not like we're buying any new vehicles, it's not, right, I mean, so, and there might be some ideas that come up even with the changing of light bulbs, right, so, you never know what information can come up with on that. So. Yeah, so are there any other names that you think of at this point, or? And so would we be, to
We have
kind
to
of put
meet
together?
once every 10 years, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Think you could do that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle that.
Some people's age, right?
Can we meet 8 years from now?
No, and actually the report has to be submitted 18 months from June of 2022.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've got time, but I just wanted to make it so that we're in process. Colette, is there anybody else that you think of that might be?
Not off the top of my head.
So it might be good and interested. Yeah, we could, actually, there is another gentleman that might be really good, because he's really good at asking hard questions too, and what's his name? I only know him as Gunner. I think it's William Bremner.
I said people in the room.
So, yeah, so just to say that out loud, right? So long as they're gonna be at the meeting, we'll just tell them to come early and they can give their input. So, just wanted to say his name out loud so that he doesn't feel
Well,
slighted,
it's a public meeting, right? So,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
So if you're on the committee or not, you can still have public comments, can't we?
Perfect, yeah. That's awesome, all right. So So,
Okay.
so if anybody comes up with any additional names, I can include those and, we can move forward. And really, they don't need, the report has to be done 18 months from June, so that's like plenty of time in the future. But if we wanted to, maybe plan for like April and May, to do that, to have that
Well,
conversation.
probably be better off doing it in May, because then if there are new board members, then they could be involved in that.
I was kind of thinking the opposite, that we would want to have people that have been on the board for a while to be able to have those conversations instead of losing some. But yeah, we can kind of strategize that out, but first we'll figure out who to have on it. Awesome.
Now, what's our total number? Or that's open as well?
It's open, they say at least 2 residents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Okay, so then moving forward. The next topic, consider approval of resolution for IMRF Code Section 125 plan. And thank you, Trustee Holmes, for sharing this, but then Sandra, the business manager, pointed out that the date for this was August 3rd, 1992. And so this does share some of the things that were put into place under this, but our situation is a little bit unique in that they didn't used to do audits on townships for the IMRF, and they just started doing that, and what they found was that we have always included the gross salary, not the net salary. And technically, we only need to include the net salary, and gross salary, employees have to contribute a little bit more, as do we. And so, when they did the audit, they said we only have to go back 4 years to do this, but we could go back and go through, have the accountants go through and figure out exactly what those numbers would be and do reimbursements. But the problem with that is that by doing that, it reduces people's retirement. And we've already got a couple of people that have retired, so it complicates things extremely. And so speaking with the assessor and with my team and the assessor's team, what everybody is hoping we will do is the other option is to fill out the resolution form and submit it to IMRF saying that we'd like to continue just doing it the same way that it is. So that we don't have to go back and clean up that mess. But they said so long as there's resolution, it's fine to keep doing it.
Yeah, there's, my understanding, there's no bar to reporting the wages as has been done. You
No,
know.
no.
So, and plus it would be a definite impact on, especially on former employees, because they already contributed and they have a certain expectation of, okay, this is what I'm going to get, you know, based on what I contributed. And to go back and say, oh, nope, you know, we need to undo all this would be, you know.
Well, and I tried to figure out
Unnecessarily
exactly how much
messy.
it would be, like how much money are we talking about? And it's really, it's pretty minuscule comparatively. So it's not, we're not talking about a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, I guess just to make sure I'm understanding this right, so this arose as a function of the audit on the accountants and what we're reporting for IMRF today?
The IMRF accountants, the IMRF
Okay.
audit, not our accountants.
Got it. And then this date of 2018, is that the last time this was put forward?
No, we
or-
just have to go back 4 years.
Got it, okay. So we're retroing back to, okay. I'll make that motion.
Second?
Oh, good.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. And Cheryl, I have the form here that it's actually you that does the signing of that. So-
I have to put an ordinance number on it too. I mean, a resolution number.
Oh, yep, oh, right, perfect. Next item is assessor's report.
Good evening. We participated in a parent-teacher day at New Tech High School where we provided information on exemptions and assessment process to all the attendees. We were trying to make a conscious effort of having a presence in the community in any way we can speak with residents one-on-one and provide them with any information and just make sure that they're educated on what we do and what they, what they would be able to do as far as their assessment is concerned, has been our goal. So that was our reason for being out at New Tech, and look forward to seeing us, more as events arise in the community. We have completed all of our appeals, and the overall number of hearings are at a record low for the year across most of the county. We are back to completing our inspections, field inspections, before the winter weather gets here. And we are working on projects in preparation for the quadrennial year, which is next year. We joined Zion Township High School in their ribbon cutting ceremony for the new technology center and participated in the Ahmadiyya Muslim community's inauguration of their new mosque. The Zion Leaders Group held its quarterly meeting at the Zion Township High School on last Saturday to keep the community informed, and we had some dialogue with the attendees or residents. And that is my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Kudos? Right?
Yes,
It's time to
yes,
start adding that in, right?
Yes.
I just appreciate how dedicated you are to being out in the community and helping people, because it's such a complicated topic and it's such a hot button.
Yes.
Having you out there, being willing to put out the hot button fires to help people understand is really cool.
Well, that's the goal. The goal is to keep everyone educated and help them understand on the, easiest of levels. Because, you can talk the jargon and that type thing. I've seen people do that, and it, that discourages people more. So I want to be able to just have even keel conversations and make sure that they have a clear understanding. And so that's what we're working towards.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, moving on, assessor's report. You have the monthly report for September of the different outputs from the team. As well, I want to thank everybody that came out for the community walk at the Zion Park District Band Shell and the community dialogue. And then I also want to just let everybody know and give out kudos to Sandra Usher for the Zion Quarterly that was mailed out the first week of October. She stays very diligent to that. The group that's involved with Esther's Well is going before the Park District Board Thursday night, correct? For official approval. So after that, they will be looking for donations to help reclaim Esther's Well. As well, any senior women that are looking to get involved, the Zion Queen Bees of Zion Red Hat Society is always looking for more members. We are actually intending on taking an extended trip down to Georgia in November. Noma Blanton, our Queen Bee, has relocated down there, and she did not know that she would be permanently down there. So the group has decided to do a trip down there just to do a final Red Hat trip with her. So I will be reaching out to Assessor Davis for some ideas, because it's in Locust Grove, Georgia, which is right by Atlanta. So I'm hoping you can help me do some planning. I have no idea. And then Elf Network has kicked off. If you know of a family that is in need for Christmas, please have them reach out to Zion Township. Coalition for Health Community Zion Benton Leadership Academy, chaired by our assessor Colette Davis. The graduation is going to be on November 5th for this year's class. And kudos to her for carrying the ball all these years to have our 100th graduate at this event. It's huge. And then the township staff visited Zion Senior Cottages, Carmel House, and Bethesda Village, and assisted 63 residents with completing the low-income home energy assistance program applications. And then we were just recently notified that Zion Township will be accepted again this year as the Salvation Army Extension Site. We will know shortly the allocation dollar amount that we will be getting to assist residents. And just a shout out, we will be attending the Mother's Trust annual event. The tickets were a lot more expensive than we could afford, and so I reached out to them and said, my team wanted to attend, but know that we're there at a heart level because the township could not afford the tickets, and they had a sponsor that called and said, we want you to be there. So 3 of the team will be attending. And just to share on the report, this last month, Mother's Trust assisted with $9,379.77 to help families that were in crisis. So they assisted with more financially than we were able to this month. And so they constantly are there to support us with any situation that comes up to be able to help residents. So just really want to give them a shout out as well. And then last but not least, the Secretary of State mobile unit will be at the Zion Benton Library on Tuesday, November 1st from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. You can go there to get your driver's license renewed if you want a state ID. And they also have the Rules of the Road class that they put on. And I'm told that if you take that class, you actually get a discount on your insurance. So I'm sure they are doing that. Sign up at the Zion Benton Public Library. So that is all I have. Is there anything else to come before the board this evening?
We'll be doing another coat drive, coalition in partnership with Grandparents and Kin Raising Children. That is also on November 5th at 9 a.m. at New Tech. That'll be a drive-through event. And then Trail of Treats next week.
Yes, Trail of Treats. Yes, my Sandra Usher, our business manager, is busy getting our costumes and our decorations for the table, and we've got employees' children that are packing the candy for the event, and it's definitely a team effort. So I'll be interested to see what the mayor's costume is this year. So actually, and Trustee McDowell, you always come up with some really interesting costumes too. So for the Trail of Treats.
I could, but I'll be in Panama.
Oh.